Breaking news. Justice Binta Nyako steps down from Nnamdi Kanu's case as MNK reject federal government settlement to denounce Biafra. Here are the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel / television this very moment. Today's date is 24th of September 2024, and I have breaking information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from where you are all over the world. Dear friends and lovers of freedom, it don't happen. It don't finally happen. And I want you to pay very good attention to this very news because it's very, very important. I can assure you, my people, we are going straight to the news. In fact, this very news is not going to be like before, just as usual. Let us read from one of the Zoo media platforms, the Sahara Reporters. And according to their title, they said, breaking. Justice Binta Nyako withdraws from Nnamdi Kanu's trial as IPOB leader scolded her for disobeying Supreme Court order. I told you that this woman is under pressure by Malami, who is using the case of her husband and her first son to intimidate her, forcing her to illegally jail Nnamdi Kanu. I told you. Those of you that watch that very live broadcast when I expose their secret agenda, you will bear me witness in the comment section. Today is happening. Now let us read in further details. At a resumed sitting, the IPOB leader had ordered his counsel, Barrister Nnamdi, to sit down while he made reference to the judgment of the Supreme Court, where alleged bias against the judge was raised. You see, even in the judgment of the Supreme Court, which the Fulani lawyer, the Fulani Karo White lawyer that called himself Ifeanyi Ejiofor, and the so-called legal Iroko, were unable to point it out, were unable to see that even the Supreme Court, even the Supreme Court pointed out the biasness of Justice Binta Nyako. But the so-called illegal Iroko and the Fulani Karo White lawyer were unable to figure out that there is something here the Supreme Court is saying about Justice Binta Nyako. Even Supreme Court itself was biased by returning the case to the Federal High Court. Yet, they still had the opportunity to finger Justice Binta Nyako. Now, let's read. Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Tuesday this morning handed off from presiding over the trial of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Justice Binta Nyako's withdrawal from the trial followed Nnamdi Kanu's application in open court, requesting her to recuse herself from the trial due to her disobedience of orders of the Supreme Court. At a resumed sitting, the IPOB leader had ordered his counsel, Nnamdi, to sit down while he made reference to the judgment of the Supreme Court, where alleged bias against the judge was raised. While Ejimako was trying to persuade the court to suspend the trial due to the fact that Kanu was denied the opportunity to prepare his defense, the detained Kanu rose from his seat and ordered his lawyer to sit down. Nnamdi Kanu is not a mai-mai, and his case is not a mai-mai case. We are talking about the leader of the entire, when I say indigenous people of Biafra, I'm not talking about the IPOB run by the DOS criminals. The leader of the entire indigenous population of Biafra, over 80 million people. It takes such a great man to lead. Are you paying attention? It takes such a great figure to lead Biafra because we are so stubborn. We are such a stubborn people. So you can't tow him like a spoiled car that you just bring your towing van and just tow. No, no. He is called Nnamdi Kanu. Now, sit down. I say you should sit down. Kanu rode from the dock. My lord, I have no confidence in this court anymore. and I ask you to recuse yourself because you did not abide by the decision of the Supreme Court. She was even lucky that Nnamdi Kanu used that word, my Lord. Look at it here. She was very, very lucky, and Nnamdi Kanu is so precious and respectful because he called her by what she is. They say judges are being called my Lord. Fine. So she was very, very lucky. Now, I can understand it if the DSS refused to obey a court order. But for this court to refuse to obey an order of the Supreme Court is regrettable. I am asking you to recuse yourself from this case, Kanu stated. Though the prosecution counsel Adeboyega Awomolo San urged the court to proceed with the trial, Justice Binta Nyako said she was minded to recuse herself from the case. She was minded. This is it. Nnamdi Kanu is not just a graduate in the zoo, but this is a man who teaches graduates. He's a man that lectures the lecturers. So he knows his right to the point that even the so-called lawmakers do not know their right to the level of Nnamdi Kanu. I'm telling you the truth. You can see the so-called son of the zoo and DSS is persuading the judge to continue or to proceed with the trial. Why George has already known that when the so-called suspect has voiced his feelings out and told her at her face that I do not have confidence in you, then there is no need of proceeding with the trial. And again, even Binta Nyako herself does not want to proceed with the trial. Because of what? She knows that since she has asked Nnamdi Kanu to go and dialogue and negotiate with the federal government for political solution, and Nnamdi Kanu has rejected the political solution, then she has no any other opportunity, to try him. Because the only thing she can do is to dance to the tone of the federal government. You understand? Which Nnamdi Kanu is fully aware. And Nnamdi Kanu is also aware of the intimidation of Malami, because Nnamdi Kanu knows the case of Binta Nyako's husband and her first son, which Malami and his criminal gang of Fulani terrorist, financiers are using against Binta Nyako. Nnamdi Kanu is aware of all these things. That is the reason why he knows very well that Binta Nyako would definitely dance to the tone of the federal government, controlled by the Fulani. Are you paying attention? And Binta Nyako, being who she is, she does not actually want to proceed with the trial because she doesn't want to dance to the tone of the federal government, because it's going to be a shame. Not only a shame to herself, but a shame to the so-called country that she's defending, or she belongs to, or she's working for. You understand? So she knows what is at stake. She knows that her career is at stake. She knows that her face is at stake. She knows that even the so-called country that she loves so much is also at stake should she dance to the tone of the federal government. So she has no any other option than to recuse and, of course, withdraw herself from the trial. Nnamdi Kanu Odogu. Odogu Kobu. Even the son, the so-called Awomolo, Adeboyega Awomolo, does not know that Nnamdi Kanu has the right to stop the judge from trying him. You see? And he is son, just like the other one that was sacked. The one from, I don't know, since all this while I usually forget the name of that man, that fellow Sabotua, normally come to speak grammar on social media, and they called him illegally Roko. And imagine the person who called him illegally Roko is the criminal that brought him. So the son Adeboyega Awomolo, who is on the on the side of the federal government, does not know that the suspect, the so-called suspect, has the right to decide who tries him. You don't just impose people on somebody and you want the trial to go on. No. You see, he urged the court to proceed with the trial when Nnamdi Kanu had already asked the judge to recuse herself. Why Justice Binta Nyako said she was minded to recuse herself from the case. I hereby recuse myself and remit the case file back to the chief judge, she said. Wow. I hereby recuse myself and remit the case file back to the chief judge. Are you paying attention? Therefore, from today, 24th September 2024, Justice Binta Nyako is officially stepped down from the case of Nnamdi Kanu. She is no longer the trial judge of the case of Nnamdi Kanu. So we are going to wait to see who is going to be the next person to take over. Recall that she is not the only one to have stepped down from this case. We have the likes of Toso and all of them. There are many. So let us see who else, who will, summon courage to pick the case and either to let justice prevail or to dance to the tune of the terrorist government of Tinubu and the Abubakar Malami, the ex-minister of justice, the man who actually ruled Nigeria on behalf of the name late Muhammad Buhari. We are coming live very, very soon. We are coming live. We are not coming with our normal time. We are coming live very, very soon. So keep your eyes on your television. Make sure that you are following up so that once we come live, you will come and join us to hear the news in details. Don't and make it go viral.